Yes, people, welcome back to the video. John Sinclair TV back again for a transfer update show. I should have Tony on, but he's going to come on a little bit later. But I've got Brad with us. Welcome back, Brad.
Yeah, good evening. Nice to be back.
Big up to you, man. And how's things to you, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, good.
Fantastic.
Always in a better mood at the moment, aren't we? When we're winning games and it's all looking good.
Yeah.
So happy days.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Welcome back, man. And yeah, it's just another transfer update show. It's 5-6 more days for the window slam shut. And guys, if you like the video and you like what you see, then give it a like, hit the subscribe button as well. And if you like to super chat, it's open. Just give what the channel is worth, even if it's a quid, but you just decide what it's worth. I never, ever ask you to chat, ever. It's open there. And if you'd like to become a member, the link's in the descriptions, just 99p. Before we go on we're going to talk about Tony is going to be on in about half an hour's time. I think Sam is T, God knows what, but big up to Tony anyway. Do check out his All Black and White TV as well. Big up to Bobby Keir. Thank you, Bobby. Big up to Tom. Even if you want, I'm confused by the conflicting reports. Gordon, some say it's stored, others say it's very, very close. And big up to Jules. Mate, hope you're okay, mate. From nowhere. And hit the like, subscribe button, enjoy the show. Thank you, Jules. Evening to Leslie as well. And evening to Alan. Evening to Davey. Evening to Andrew DB. Evening to Ian as well. Hope you're right, mate. Evening to Ches, and go back to Jules' comment. Even by Gordon, how long would it take to get him on the right track? Well, I spoke to a few Everton fans as well, and I'm online, and they said that his attitude, the way he's not turned off for training, sort of thing, his attitude is all wrong. I'm totally have plenty to say about that, I'm sure. So big up to let's again, big up to Jez. Hope you're okay, mate. Absolutely cool. And hi to Gareth. Big up to Gareth. And everyone say hi to everyone else. I think it's great to just go for it. And I appreciate that. And she'll say hi to Ches. Let's have a look at this one. Hi, hey, Ches. Why do you wear a Man U shirt on your pic? Glad it's not me. Big up to Big Dog. I hope you okay, my guy. And for Jules, I thought it'd be a great tribute to John's team, which is Newcastle, of course. And I've got one for Frederic as well. Big up to Frederic as well. Right. Like I said, Tony is going to come in soon. First of all, we're going to talk about the latest news on Anthony Gordon. Now, there's been strong reports of saying that the deal's very close. Fabrizio Romano said that the deal's very close. Personal team terms has been agreed. That's his words, not mine. I'm not going to come on here and say it's a done deal. We're talking facts, not fiction. He's not here yet, but they've been talking to him, for what I've heard. Anthony Gordon, would you take him at Newcastle, Brad?
Yeah, I think he's sort of looking like at the moment that he's the main target for us. So, in fairness, we're a bit thin on the ground. In terms of like who we've got attacking wise. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good addition for us. And I know people have got a certain opinion on him of what he's been, certain antics and how he's behaved sort of on the pitch previously and sort of thing like that. But he's a young player who's showed his potential, showed glimpses of what he can do. So I'll be confident that if he signed for us, then he's got a great coaching team behind him, someone like Eddie, to sort of keep him level-headed and give him a bit of guidance, all around, not just on the pitch, but everything like that. And we can turn him into a solid player, I think, who's going to be key for us, because we do need reinforcements in that position. And if he can do what he's done with Almiron and a few other players like that, then we could have a real player on our hands. He's not the finished article, but we're not expecting that. And to pay a decent amount, if we do sign him, we're going to end up paying a fairly hefty amount of money for him. So they obviously believe that he's worth it. So yeah, I'm 100% behind it.
Absolutely right, absolutely correct. And yeah, the thing is, right, I mean, a lot of people are saying that they don't want the guy here. They rather sign James Maddison or rather sign Musa Diaby as well. For me, I mean, what they want, 60 million quid, right? Some reports are saying it could be 45 million quid. And Everton's going to try to lower the price because they think 60 million, they know is too much. For a player that hasn't won one cap yet for in England as well, but paying 60 mil is quite a lot of money in my opinion, right? That's 60 mil. I'd rather go out and buy Musa Diaby for Leverkusen, in my opinion. But I have to trust Eddie Howe, what he does. And if we get Anthony Gordon, if he comes to the door, then we have to trust Eddie and the team as well. Let's be real. And yeah, we just got to buy with it. You know, we've got to support the lad the best we can. I'm hearing that Gordon's not being coached right at the club. The club's a mess. We know that. There's been problems at the club. We know that. But at the end of the day, the fans having a go at Anthony Gordon, smashing his car, have threats to him. It's not right.
No. Yeah, it's it's a bit of a sad way to end for him as well, because being a local lad and coming through the team, and to see the situation where he was driving along the road and he's getting his car blocked in and people are coming up to the window shouting abuse and things, which is obviously not great. So, but when they're not turning up to training, I know the first couple of days there was an understanding that it wasn't going to be there, but I think today is the one where he still hasn't turned up, and obviously for one reason or another, he's telling them that he's not gonna. But I suppose we don't know the exact details of what's going on, but yeah, nothing to be. I mean, he's probably going to raise concerns to say, oh, his attitude and things like that. But yeah, I just go back to saying the fact that the Eddie and the board, if they're behind it, then they must know, and they're not silly people. They've done the homework, and they obviously know that that's something that can change. Or if they're really put off by his behaviour and the reports of that, then we wouldn't be going anywhere near him. So you've got to hope that obviously he's probably not as bad as it sounds, and if he does sign for the club, then obviously he's coming into an environment where the team spirit's there and everything like that. So you'd hope that he's going to have to fall into line with that, and obviously Eddie, he's not going to accept anything less. And if we're signing the guy, then he must be very confident that he's going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look at his record for Everton since 2017. 65 appearances, 7 goals. And he's been out on loan press North End, 11 appearances, 0 goals. For England, the 21, 4 goals in 9 games. That's what he has got. Not one cap for England, and we're shelling out 60 million for this guy. So let's go on to some more comments. And would you take Andy Gordon to Newcastle? Gordon and Tony Avis saying a bit with comes on. I'm not sure that Gordon missing training is an attitude issue. Reports are that he's been threatened. Yes, and I tell you what, Everton fans, hang your heads to shame, right? Threatening players, have a go at Mina. I'm surprised he didn't clock this one. That's number one. Number two, right? We as fans, we don't do that to players at all at Newcastle United. We just do not. Otherwise, you're going to get absolutely wrong. And big up to Gary D, by the way. It's nice to see you pop on Newcastle Fans TV the other night. Southampton joined. Yes, I was at Southampton on Tuesday. Lee came up to us, signed me name. We had a chat, did a quick interview with the guy, and big up to Lee, by the way. He's put on Newcastle Fans TV. The guy's absolutely spot on. Seen him a few times. The guy, his attitude is spot on, and he is football. The guy's brilliant. Lovely, the best. I'd love to get on my channel one day. I would take Gordon if he cost 25 mil, but as much as we bought Bruno, hell no. We paid 35, 36 million for Bruno, and they're asking 60 mil. That's the problem nowadays. You got to pay the premium to buy British players. That is the thing. Big up to Ken, by the way. Hope you're well, mate. Absolutely fine. On Tuesday, I'll be super on Tuesday neat where we get through. And he will be supporting Newcastle United, of course, mate. Newcastle United, and Macy will be supporting their team. And half and half. Thank you. I'm not a Gordon fan, but if anyone can just form him as Eddie the man, that's in Gareth. Absolutely right. And Brad's knocking off his cam for a bit. The longer it goes on, the more woman to come to the Toon. It will pee off the Scouts and Mackhams and Chelsea. That's in Davy. Every time I'm asking 60 mil for Gordon, for me, I will get Maddison. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a hell lot of money to pay. That's all money. I mean, I'll pay 60 million for Nicola Zaliola when he's properly fit, and I'll pay that sort of money for Chiesa for UB as well. But 60 mil for Gordon, if we can get the price down, cool. Big up to William, by the way. I hope you're fine. I've got David as well. Hi, guys. Hope you're both well. We are. And Gordon has always acted like a muppet, and this behaviour is not going to train reinforces that. I thought we had no muppets policy. For me, do you think they should check out on players' references, Brad, before they take the player on?
Yeah, and I think that's somewhat that when they've got more professional people in the club, that's something we do more seriously. Because I think the owners have mentioned in an interview, could have been last year now, that there was quite a few players that they didn't sign. They were looking at signing, but then the references that they got back sort of put them off the deal, and they walked away from it. So I think at the end of the day, we've got people like Dan Ashworth and the other staff that'll be working for him. They'll be fully aware of part of the deals, part of the due diligence of scouting players. That's the attitude's a big part of it. So sort of going back to what I said before, I think for the Gordon deal, I don't think we'd be going for it if there was things like that were true. So I think if they've got it on good accord, that maybe things that aren't what they're seeing in reporting in the media and that sort of thing, then I reckon that it must be, if he signs for the club, I'm sure that the club have looked into what's going on, and they're fine with it, because the last thing we need is someone who's going to come into the team and be a bit of a disruption or cause a problem, in fairness. So yeah, I'm 100% confident of the fact that we will have checked that up, and anybody we look at, any player we look to sign and put an offer in for, we'll do exactly the same.
Absolutely, Brad. Well said. Well said. We go through the comments before we get my guy on and my man on a bit. That's a good comment, David. Thanks for that, mate. I don't want Gordon at the Toon, but if he comes, he'll get my full support. That's in Carlos. We are Newcastle fans slagged off by pundits for Woods, while Everton fans get away with violence. Where's consistency? That's exactly right, Truls. Absolutely right. It's all about having to go at Newcastle, but not having to go at Everton. Wow. Would we bothered if the Gordon deal fell through, to be honest? Not with anywhere near 60 mil. That's a big deal. Afternoon, again, it's absolutely laughable. Looking at his stats, there's nothing there close to 560 million quid. It's ridiculous. We've gone to absolutely poor. That's a fair comment, Paul, by the way. But at price, absolutely not. 30 mil maybes. He is ways better than Theatre. Makes room for big duo back in the middle as well. Big up to Mats, by the way. And please hit the subscribe button as well. What are your thoughts on 26 million being offered for Max? You're going to come on to ASM later on. Tony, even to you, mate. How are you doing, my guy? You good?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Nice to see you, Brad.
Nice to see you, mate.
Big up, big up.
Not seen you for a while. You've been hiding.
Man, brilliant stuff. Tony, we're talking about Anthony Gordon. Yeah, now according to reports, right, from Fabrizio Romano, he's basically saying that the deal is negotiation between the clubs has been slow. Everton expect to make a decision soon. Personal terms being agreed years ago and being submitted as well. Now, Anthony Gordon is not at the training ground. He does training for the straight 3 days straight, right? And I know a lot of people are saying that, we don't want attitude like that. Now, I could be wrong here. I know you want to take Anthony Gordon. You're going to give him a chance because of Eddie Howe. Is he coming? We're talking about facts here, not fictions.
Exactly, John. Exactly what we talk, and that's why the likes of myself, you, Toon Review, the viewers know where to go to, John. They know the channels to avoid, the clickbait channels, but they know the channels to come to where they want facts, and that's where they come to. I mean, the Anthony Gordon situation, okay, it's a strange one. He's not been at training for 3 days. Now, it could be his head's been turned by us coming in for him. So, straight away, he's probably not in the right frame of mind to train because he wants the deal to go through. It could be a multiple of things, John. I mean, it could be down to the way the fans are so the Everton fans are at the moment, because the way those fans are at the moment at Everton is absolutely disgusting. The way they're blocking roads off, stopping players. You know, I mean, like I say, Yerry Mina took a risk getting out of his car. You don't know what people are carrying, you know, and he could have put his life in danger because he got out the car to speak to these fans. Now, we never resorted to those tricks under the previous regime, but we got in. But we had the media on our backs the way we hounded Bruce out the club. Now, the way them fans were hounding them players and Frank Lampard out the club was worse than the way we hounded Bruce out the club. But yet nothing's said about them, but everything's said about us. The same as when Bruce was hounded out of West Brom. Nothing was said. But when we hounded him out, you can't get rid of him. He's a nice family man. No, he's not a nice he might be a nice family man out of football, but he's certainly not a nice football manager because he ain't got a clue what he's doing. He's dinosaur. That's what he is, a dinosaur. And but on the Anthony Gordon, I'm not saying I'll take him, John. I mean, £60 million Everton can jog on. I said this on my video this afternoon that I put out. And I mean, they can jog on at 60 million quid. I would say maybe 30 to 40 million pound is about the right bracket for Anthony Gordon. And I'll tell you why it's 30 to 40 million. Because he's got a lot of qualities about him, Anthony Gordon. Yes, we know he dives about. We know he can get into people's faces, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, a lot of people out there who don't want Anthony Gordon in, if he came into the club and, say, on his debut, scored, all of a sudden the fans would forget about the Anthony Gordon at Everton.
Exactly.
They would love the Anthony Gordon that's at Newcastle. Or the same Anthony Gordon that wins a free kick outside the penalty area, even if he did dive, but Trippier puts it in the back of the net. Are the fans going to slate him for diving? No, they're not. They're going to be over the moon because we've got a goal against whoever we're playing. And, you know, Anthony Gordon won that free kick for Trippier to put in the back of the net. So that's what I'm saying, John. You know, we're all in this, like, thing. But if Everton wants 60 million, no chance. 30 to 40 million is about right. Maybe I would say 25 million with the add-ons on top of that. But what I'm more interested in, right, is the fact is, now you've got Zaniolo. Now, I did mention this earlier on. Bournemouth have offered £30 million plus a sell-on clause if they sold Zaniolo on. Now, yes, we went in with a loan offer and that was knocked back till the summer. Now then, John, the thing is, though, would you, and I'm asking you and Brad as well, would you be all over this with Zaniolo? If Bournemouth are willing to go with a £30 million bid, should we be doing the same? Because I know the guy's had injury problems, he's had ACLs and all this, but
twice.
The thing is, he's a quality player. But Callum Wilson's had 2 ACLs as well, by the way. So, you know, he's not the only person to have had 2 ACLs, and it hasn't ruined Callum Wilson's career. He still managed to score goals, and yeah, we know he's slowing down a bit now. But would you be all over Zaniolo, John? If Bournemouth can go in with him for 30 million quid, then why can't we?
Exactly. Absolutely right. I mean, let's be real, right? I mean, Zaniolo, I mean, I could be wrong with this. I don't think he'd go to Bournemouth. It's not a big enough club for him. He wants to play for a big club. He wants to play for a project club, if anything, yeah? But let's be real. And if he's available, I'm sure Tottenham's going to be available as well because Conte wants him as well. But he won't be there in the summer, so he'd be wasting his time. But we should be after this guy because I think he can make a difference to Newcastle United, Tony, 110%. And 30 mil, wow, I'll be over that, Tony. Yep. All of it. I think 100%.
It's one of them as well. I think you see if Bournemouth were to sign him, it's one of them strange signs you see pop every window, and it's like it's almost like it's a free pass for him to have a go in the Premier League, innit? If he was to sign at Newcastle, it's more of a pressure and expectation of him. But I think he's thinking, oh, it's a loan deal. It'd be 6 months. It's 6 months in the Premier League. I can maybe show what I can do, and then after that, he's not going to stay there. So after that, he's maybe gives himself an options of what he wants to do. So there's maybe that side of it. But say if we sign him, the difference is we wouldn't want to be giving him back to anyone after the end of the season. We'd want guarantees that we could buy him. at least, if that was an obligation or an option, we'd have to have something in the deal. And maybe he doesn't want that. It just depends where his head's at, the player personally, and where he sees himself. He looks like he might want to stay in the Serie A and go to Milan. So that's probably I would probably hedge my bets towards him staying in Italy. To be honest, if Milan put an offer on the table for him, but it's one of them.
I think that's the name to watch for in the deadline day window. Anything can happen on the last day of the window as well, guys. I missed on True's comments. We should go for European players because of being robbed by the Scouts Mackins, in my opinion. It's true. Europe and beyond, the only one get fleeced. Absolutely, absolutely. I think 26 mil for ASM is reasonable considering what he's done. But in today's market with these stupid prices, I wouldn't take anything less than 50. Not that I want him to leave. We're going to talk about ASM in a bit. Exactly, Jules. Jules, Tom, they'll be doing the homework on players and the character. Agree if they're going for Gordon, it's because they will think he's fit as a player, as a character. Could be right. And Ken, there's some times which Eddie just opened up and told the truth about the squad. He's said many times that he doesn't want any of the group to leave. So how do you sign anyone's squad? Okay. Even though I'm just coming around, the Gordon sign around 30 mil reminds me when Bellamy signed. Tony, that's a fantastic point. Everyone's saying, who's Craig Bellamy? Craig who? He ain't big enough for Newcastle United.
Well, John, I remember when Bellamy signed. And I was quite critical of him signing, to be fair, John, because I thought, well, hang on. Why are we signing a player who's only just scored 6 goals in one season for Coventry? And do you know what it is, though, John? It was tough, but he proved me wrong because he turned out to be a great player. Him and Shearer had a great partnership. They told the Mackhams a new backside as well. We remember that game quite well. I mean, to be fair, John, the thing is, with Anthony Gordon, right, as I say, he has got qualities there, John. He can play on the left wing. He could probably play a right wing as well. And the thing is, Eddie Howe, the flaws he's got in his game, like he's diving and all that, okay, fair enough, he's got a bit of aggression, but remember, the lad's only 21, so he's young still, he's raw. So Eddie Howe will probably calm his aggression down, probably stop him diving so much. And Eddie Howe could get that extra 20 to 30% out of Anthony Gordon. Look what he's done to Almiron. Look what he's done to Longstaff. Look what he's done to Willock. Look what he's done to ESM to a degree. ESM's a totally different player now to what he used to be. ESM used to be a one-trick pony. Let's fiddle about the box and try and beat how many players I can beat. Now he's putting the ball in the box first time rather than trying to take too many players on, and he's tracking back. So if Eddie Howe can do that with these players, then why can't you do the same with Anthony Gordon? And the thing is, Gordon probably wants to work under Eddie Howe because as I've said before, John, the problem is Anthony Gordon has not been properly coached. I'm sorry, Frank Lampard is not a great coach, in my opinion. Frank Lampard is a very, very poor coach. He's championship manager at best. His coaching staff around him are poor as well, where Eddie Howe's got a trusted staff. And as I've said, we don't know what Anthony Gordon's like outside off the football field, what he's like in the dressing room, the training ground. We don't know. Maybe Eddie's found something out that he's a great character. He might be the nicest lad once he's off the football field. Maybe when he's on the football pitch, he's a totally different player. But when he's out of the football, he might be totally relaxed, chilled out. He's 21, John. And the thing is, if we get him for 30 to 40 million, I won't be disappointed with that. And I'll back the lad 100%. Like any player that comes through that door. Like I did with Chris Wood when he come through the door. I backed him 100% as well. So, I know a lot of people are unhappy about the Gordon deal. It hasn't happened yet. We don't know what's happening. But I think, to be fair, on Everton's side, I know they're trying to get the best money they can, but I'm sorry, he's not worth 60 million. He's played 16 games this season, 3 goals. Sorry, that doesn't pay you a 60 million pound player. But give him 30 to 40 million, it's about right. And I think Everton I think Mashiri just needs to pull his finger out of his backside and just realise and say, do you know what? If I keep Gordon, he's going to be unhappy. We're going to have an unhappy player here, and it's going to turn the morale of the dressing room on a negative side. just get rid. And do you know what? I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Everton's loss, by the way. It really, really is. But I'll back Andy Gordon all day long. If he comes to us, he's our player. We got to back him. It could be a secret weapon for the top 4. Who knows?
John, he could be a gem, John. I mean, the thing is, not being funny, we buy him for 30, 40 million, and Eddie Howe gets him playing that much even better than he is now. John, a couple of years' time, he could, by the end of next season, he could be worth 70, 80 million. You don't know. Look, how much is Joe Linton worth now? And look what Joe Linton's on a week, 43 grand a week, compared to like what Trippier's on and Bruno's on. But you don't see Joe Linton complain about being on 43 grand a week.
Not really, no. He gets on with it, you know what I mean? He gets on with it. I mean, Joe Linton has improved a lot since Eddie Howe came in the door, right? And Liverpool wants him as well. But Liverpool ain't having him. We're not going to do business of our rivals. Never, never, never. No way. But you're right. He just on with it. He does the job. I think Jordan should get a new contract. He deserves a new contract in my eyes, 100%.
But all I want to, sorry, John. All I want to say, John, is all right to the people in the chat, right out there.
Yeah.
Thing is, don't be too negative or despondent if Gordon comes into the club. Give the guy a chance. I know people aren't happy with it, John, and I know it's dividing a lot of opinion, and I know like Sean Longstaff divides a lot of opinion. But at the end of the day, this guy seriously does have talent. It just needs bringing out more. And I think Eddie Howe is the manager who can bring that talent through. He's 21, nowhere near his peak. He's very raw. And I'm sure Eddie Howe will put an arm around him and make him a better player. Look, like I say, you just got to look at Almiron. He's the proof.
Absolutely. And one thing you said as well, Tony, forgot to say, he is not the finishing article yet.
Absolutely.
Simple. So good, 26 months for ASM. Going to talk about him a bit. Is an insult. He is way more talented than Gordon. We should not consider anything less than 50 mil. Personally, I wouldn't get rid of him. No way. And big up to Gary. Everton doing the same thing as Leicester City, trying to get as much money out of Newcastle as they can. John, well, they need to be careful. Otherwise, they're going to lose out and they could be having an unhappy player on their hands. I don't want to see Maxi go and not for 26 mil. ASM's going nowhere, simple as. I understand the reservation by Gordon, but we don't know what's off-field personnel. He's rated first in sprints per tackles and 19th final third. That fits well in Eddie's high-intensity style. Exactly, Chaz. Exactly. Yeah? Exactly. ASN love the Toon so much. I can't see him leaving anyway, to be fair. The way I see it from the outside, no one else is going to come in for Gordon anytime soon. So Everton, well, in need of money, really needs to negotiate a reasonable price instead of seeing pound signs. If they get an unhappy player and they get relegated, they will not see 60 million quid. And be lucky to see 40 million as well. There you go. I'm not saying that we can get better. I just think that Eddie and Dan were doing the homework. That said, for 60 mil, they're taking the P. We can get Diaby for that. I'd rather spend 60 mil on Diaby. And I've said this before. Everton deluded with the price they want for players. You're absolutely right. After seeing Maxi come on at Southampton, the way he played, he's off for sale. Simple as that, lads. He's not. And do you guys worry Gordon would do this to us if we get him to say Man United came in for him? I'll tell you something, right? It is, Brad. When it comes to Newcastle, you don't hear ASM mourning. You don't see any of our players mourning, kicking up a fuss and things that go their way. We had that with Didier Dorme, Alain Goma. We had players like that before at Newcastle. And since then, none of them has kicked off a fuss.
No, and that's it. And that's one of the key reasons why we're doing so well at the minute. Because we've got that in the squad and everyone understands that every player in that team is just as important as each other. And even if you're not making the team and you're sitting on the bench or you're injured, you've still got a huge part to play. You're still part of this club. You still support. You're still very much made to feel as part of United, as part with the club and the fans, and that's one of the key things that they've came in and they've done. So, and you need people like Eddie who are great at taking the team of players that we've got, putting the arm around them, and making them all feel part of something, which is credit to him for doing that. And that means we've got a really really happy squad, and they all fight for each other. And look, they understand that. Maxi completely understands that he's not getting in the team because we've got a starting 11 that hasn't lost a game. No, take away the Sheffield Wednesday result, and there's a long run of games where we're not conceding hardly any goals at all, and so at the end of the day, ASM's got to understand when he gets his chance, he's got to take it, and he's doing that. So that's all you can do, and you've got competition for places, so there's no reason at the minute, and when everyone's there, when you've got a full squad that isn't mourning, you're obviously going to have a really successful team, because things like that only cause disruption and problems and issues that you don't need. So I think we're really onto a winner with that. So I think we've got to owe that to a lot of the reason why we're doing as good as we are and surprising everybody.
Fair point, Brad. Well said, well said. I think I read this. I wish Eddie would open up, being honest about the squad. Many times he said he doesn't want anyone in the group to leave. So how can you sign anyone as there will be no squad place? Ken, is competition for places, mate. Do you know what I mean? Competition for places. If you don't perform, they take your place. Because I like Kobe, I could even in. Hope you're okay. And it's nice to see Brad back as well. I'd offer 30 mil for maximum, and take it or leave it, and then move on if they reject it. Price will always be inflated for us, and especially in January transfer window. That's true. If Maxi gets sold, which I don't think he will, I will be furious. You won't be on your own trails. You won't be on your own. As I said in the comments, Tony, Evans can jog on to the championship as well. Exactly. Difference is we criticised Boots. We didn't block him and attack him. His son gave a shout on Twitter, so he gave him some shout back. Any manager doing bad will get the same treatment from any fan base. 20 million at the very best. That's in KK. Could be Kevin Keegan. Who knows? I agree, Tony. Matt's agree with you, Tony. If Murphy played against us and he weighed one of ours off, I would be fuming. But the other way around is brilliant. Kind of think the same about Gordon's tactics as well. We're going to come to some maximum in a bit. Hello to Connor or CJ. Dan Burn in for Player of the Month. Get brought in. Big up. Then Fansa, who plays for Mengo, that deals when sound off sold at any price. I'll comment out one later on as well. Sandy all of us who think of Bournemouth with the black and white red stripes as our biggest Milan. Well, I tell you something, right? If he thinks Bournemouth are Milan, then he needs to think again. Nice place to live, though, with the beaches there as well. Big up to O'Brien, big up to you, mate. No more Cox Wilson's been injured a lot. Don't need any more injured-prone players. And just chatting to Ken. Either have Aids on the left and Gordon. Gordon ticks all the boxes for Eddie Howe's football. That's in Fredericks as well, see? Guy Sports News saying we listen to the different officers at ASM. That's for Leslie. We're going to talk about ASM now, guys. So I'll start with you, Tony. He's been linked with Milan, Villarreal, and Sevilla. Apparently, he's turned down 2 Spanish clubs, by the way, even Volsoft as well. What's the latest state of play for ASM?
Well, again, John, I did put this out this afternoon as well. I mean, AC Milan offering £26 million because that's what they think his value is, and that's what they can offer the most of. John, they can jog on because I'll tell you why.
Yeah. For
£26 million, they might get his left foot, and that's about it. But other than that, they won't get the whole ASM for £26 million. AC Milan are just taking the page on. I don't know who they think they are. Some small club from Italy. But, technically, if they think they can just come to us and say, I'll give you 26 million for ASN, well, they can think again. I don't think we'll sell him in this window. I think he'll be here at the end of the season. He's already said he's got a great relationship with Isak. Now, we saw that on Tuesday night when he came on, him and Isak. You could see the relationship straight away. Now, on Tuesday, I want to see Eddie Howe be brave and bold. I want to see Wilson and I want to see Willock left out of the team. I want to see ESM and Isak brought in. And I want them to start because, in all honesty, John, they need to start. They changed that game when they come on. Sorry, Wilson's done nothing for the past few games apart from that one assist, which he crossed back for Isak. Other than that, John, Wilson's been pretty poor since the World Cup, and I think he needs time on the bench. And that's not being nasty to Callum Wilson, because I think he's been absolutely terrific for us. But I think maybe looking at it, maybe the illnesses he's had, the injuries, I think they're all starting to catch up now, John. He's lost a bit of pace. He's lost that pace. You can see how much he's lost pace. And it's time for Wilson to have some bench time. Now, he could do a job as an impact sub. Wilson, if you want a goal, throw him on for the last 20 minutes, try and grab you a goal. But if I'm honest, I think he's starting to lose a bit of pace now, and he's looking a little bit sluggish. And I just think a bit of time on the sidelines might help him out. He didn't look happy about coming off the other day, on Tuesday. But I'm sorry, Callum's got to realise it's a squad game now. And
yeah,
I mean, I've got no problems with giving him a new contract or whatever, but I just don't think. And I said to you, John, if we sign another striker in the summer, I can see Callum Wilson not being a starter next season. He'll be a bench player because the new strikers will start. I mean, we've spent 63 million on Isak. Yes, he's been injured, and we've had to get his fitness up. But we saw how sharp he was. Look at the burst of pace he had to get that ball across for Joe Linton. And then even when he got round Bazunu as well. I mean, if it wasn't for Bazunu getting the slightest touch on that, Isak probably would have more than likely scored. But yeah, I think it's time Wilson goes on the bench. I don't know if you agree with me, John, and Brad, but I think Wilson needs a rest now, and Willock, because they've both been poor in my eyes.
It's a strange one, because he just seems just a tiny bit off the pace, and it doesn't help that he's not really been getting involved. No, he's not had the chances that he's been usually getting. He would put away in the past. So it's probably, I mean, just he's clearly off the pace, just like ever so slightly. So maybe a rest would do him good. But I just feel that the way things are going, they'll probably just keep the same, keep the winning team. But yeah, I do think that the fact that Maxi and Isak have made such an impact coming on, it's a great thing to have, and Isak's obviously desperate to get that starting position. No doubt about it. So it's just, if anything, it's just going to be good competition.
Yeah, absolutely, guys, totally agree. But ASM, he can't be sold. There's no way. But as to Callum Wilson, I mean, from my opinion, he needs to be dropped. I think he needs to rest. And this is not the same Callum Wilson that I've seen with that. He's lost that explosive pace. Where's that off the ball running? Where's the loosest marker? And his finishing touch as well. For me, I love him. But at the end of the day, I have to go with Tony. He'd be a bench player as for next season, because we get top four, then he will not be a starter. We definitely need a versatile striker at the club. Isak's got to be the number one striker. We need backup to Isak. And if Callum Wilson wants to stay at the club, he has to work from the suspension, unfortunately. That's my opinion. Paul, I miss your comment.
John,
yeah.
Sorry. John, I mean, have you seen this journalist called Alex Turk?
Yeah.
Now, he put a tweet out, United. Now, I'm sorry, that's disrespectful, because it's Manchester United, because there's more than one United in the Premier League. And I'm sick of hearing people go United about Man United. It's Manchester United, not United. Right. We're United, not Man United. So he says, United versus Newcastle final would go down just as it did at Old Trafford. Newcastle will have a full week to prepare for a 0-0, while United will play Barcelona in a European second leg 3 days before. Makes me uneasy. The thought of a third successive final loss is nightmare fuel. Now, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, yes, they're playing in European competition. That's sod's law. That's unfortunate. That's what happens when you're playing in Europe. If you can't qualify for the Champions League, you're going to play on a Thursday night in the Europa League. And do you know what I hope, John? I hope it's 0-0 at the Nou Camp. Then I hope it's 0-0 at Old Trafford. And I hope it goes all the way through extra time and penalties. And I hope it's so grueling for them that when it comes to final, they will be absolutely knackered. Because what is Ten Hag going to prioritise? Is he going to prioritise the League Cup, or is he going to think, no, I want to beat Barcelona because he'll want the bragging rights? What do you think? if it was you, John, what would you rather prioritise? Would you prioritise beating Barcelona, or would you prioritise the Carling? I was going to say the Carling Cup final. Geez, it's been a long time since it was a Carling Cup. The Carabao Cup final.
Carbo.
What would you say, John? What would you sacrifice out of them two?
For me personally,
does Ten Hag want to get hammered off Barcelona?
Not really. No, we'll look good on them, will it? Let's be real. So he's got to go prioritise the Carabao Cup. They have to, because at the end of the day, right? I mean, he wants to go for top 4, and we always go for the trophy. Do you know what I mean? I always go for the Carabao Cup. That's what we want to do. But Alice Turk, I saw this comment this morning, right? And this guy is an absolute muppet. He really, really is, by the way. Leave it in the comments, please, what do you think of Alice Turk? But one thing I'm going to say about him, right? He hasn't done his research, how well we played, how many goals we scored, who's higher up in the league in a minute. We've been smashing teams like Fulham, 4-1 away from home, Brentford at home, Villa at home, Southampton away, Leicester away. We drew his team nil each, by the way, and we were better than them in the first half, yeah. So the reason he's saying that, Tony, is because he is rattled. The team are rattled. Sorry, Macy. We went there and we got a result, yeah. Nil each. We should have won in the first half, and Jordan missed that chance, by the way. But you know what it is, Alice Turk? He should take his hand for a shite. Sorry, Paul.
Well, should change his name to Alex Turd, not Alex Turk. But that's what he should be. But and then we've got the knob jockey Simon Jordan then coming out saying Everton's bigger than Newcastle. I mean, what do you make of that, John?
Well, I tell you what, Simon Jordan's doing Simon Jordan bits, isn't he, man? Let's be real. But when you talk about winning trophies in league recently, yeah, I mean, yes, Everton's won the league titles, I get it, sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. But now, we're talking about 21st century, we're the bigger club. Much bigger club. We're a project club. We don't go and spend $500 million on crap, right? We buy quality. They go and waste their money. Do you know what I mean? And this is why, Tony, we're third in the league for a reason. And Everton second bottom. Yes, Everton are a big club at the time, but the club's in a mess. The club's in a whole mess, yeah? So at the end of the day, right, we have the greatest respect to them. I think they need to be relegated. I'm sorry, I've got Everton followers, but I think they need to be relegated and start the game because that club's an absolute mess. And I hope Bielsa turns them down because at the end of the day, right, I don't like having to go at people, but I'm just speaking the truth here. Marcelo Bielsa, right, if he goes to Everton, or Sean Dyche for that matter, right, their careers will be ruined. You know what I mean? Who want to go to Everton, right, and take on those kind of players? Look at the next 2 games they got. I think they're home to Arsenal, and I think they're ready to Chelsea, if remember says this correctly. They're going to get beat by them. If Arsenal manager saying, you know what, I don't do Everton's new manager having to face those 2. No way. I don't want an L against my name or a Hammond against my name. Do you know what I mean? It would not look good on your CV, will it? So, Sodom. Nah.
Thing is, John, though, right? Bielsa, reportedly, if he goes in there, he's going to get 11 million a year. Now,
they must be desperate. They must be desperate.
Now his backroom staff, though, John, this is where the sticking point is. He wants his backroom staff. Now, they'll cost £1 million a month. So add the 11 million a year to 12 million for the backroom staff. That's £23 million a year. Everton's going to have to pay out for himself and his backroom staff. And no wonder Everton's in such a mess that they're in now. And I said this the other day, they need to go down and be reset because they're just, you know, they're just not good enough to be in the Premier League. And I'm sorry, if they escape relegation again this season, you're going to have the same old crap again next season that they're going to be around there. They may as well just go down and be done with it. You know, and I said, Calvert-Lewin, I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. 173 appearances, 46 goals for Everton. Not good enough. That's not a great scoring ratio. I'm sure he can get transferred to Milan. I'm sure they'll take him there because you do well in Milan, especially down the catwalk.
Exactly. It's like Gareth Bale, not interested in football, more in golf, and now he's more into fashion than football. At the end of the day, if they get relegated, then they got a big rebuilding job. 11 million a year. Are they willing to pay 11 million to Bielsa? If I was Bielsa, I mean, personally, I mean, like, he's got a difficult decision to make. It's all about the money at the end of the day. We go through the comments as well. It looks like Gordon comes in. ASMB out the door.
No.
I'm not sure about that. I would not back Gordon until he proves himself. That's from Charles. That's fair enough. No chance ASM leaves. Gordon is Wood theatre replacement. Interesting. Name one reason we would sell ASM in this window. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I can't see him leaving Newcastle, to be fair. Players like Madison, Bruce's cuteness, we need in the final third, close ball control, sharp on a half turn, progressive dribbles, and passing at tight spaces, accurate shooting. That's from Jackie B. And big up to Jackie B. I hope you don't mind calling you Jackie B, Jack. Jason, big up to you, Jason. If anyone scored and I trust him, pass for means out is what Eddie can turn him into. However, we should not be paying $6 million. First of all, Jason, hit the subscribe button, please, mate, if that's your first time. And work on the board as well, my guy. 60 million. I think I'll be reserved judgment for that, by the way. But rather go back in and spend 60 million than wanted for Madison. That's from Paul. It might be ASM wanted to listen as he's not on the starting list for us at the minute. Remember, he was once our main go-to man. Now he's not. He might think the grass has been elsewhere. Do you know what it is, right? If he goes, I'll be absolutely devastated. Do you know what I mean? Gordon has ability for sure, so he should get backed by the fans. But if we pay 40, 60 million on Gordon, he'll get judged accordingly. Expect double the assists and goals. That's what ASM Miggy will get. Seeing ASM plough in when they thought Bruno was being threatened made me think he wants to stay. Yeah, that's a good shout, Leslie. That bad dude with the guy Fox facial hair speaks sensible. Cheers. Foxy, Cheers is giving some praise there, Brad. Big up. If you pay Gordon for 20-30 mil, I'll be more comfortable. He has 6 yellows in 12 games, the most booked player in the Premier League has 7. And guess who that 7 is? Joe Linton. Big up to Tommy D, by the way. I hope you're okay. Even to you. I'll swap ASM for Theo Hernandez or Sandro Tonali. Now then, would you, Brad, swap ASM for Theo Hernandez, Sandro Tonali?
I can't see that happening, to be honest. I think the value of those two players is higher than what they're willing to pay for ASM. So, but I think someone like Hernandez would be a great signing to as an attack and a fullback for us. But he's probably one of them that's destined on for a bigger club than us at the moment. But yeah, I mean, ASM's one that I don't want to see him go, really. Personally, I don't want to see him leave.
I don't either, Brad. I don't either.
Yeah.
But if Theo Hernandez is
I wouldn't
available,
swap him.
No, I don't think. I just wouldn't want to.
No.
I don't know. I just think that it's such a big part of what we've been about. So, and if everyone gets behind him, he'll get his place back in the squad, and he'll prove himself. He's still got a long way to go in his career, and he's still getting better. So,
yeah,
I just think we just got to. And I know there's a lot of rumours going around, but the club will have no plans to sell him. I don't think. Eddie certainly want him around.
Absolutely. I tell you what, Go on, Tony.
Thing is, John, I would have Tonali because I think he's a hell of a defensive midfielder.
He is.
I rate this guy quite highly, to be fair. And I actually thought this last year. I would love to see him in the club, but I mean, his value is 46 million euros according to SofaScore, but I mean, it's probably a lot more than that. But he joined Milan from Brescia, if I remember rightly.
Yes, he did. And he got them up as well on loan. I think when Wilson went off, he's shaking his heat at himself. He only just sparred 15 times, and he knows himself. He is not performing. Yes, absolutely. I was shocked. I was shocked. Wilson had plenty of chances. He just hits it straight at the keeper. And to Theo Hernandez, I take him all day long. Perfect left back, world class left back. And big up to William, by the way. Tony Willock and Wilson needs to rest like 2 or 3 games. I agree. Isak and ASM's done enough coming in just for a start new. ASM's working alongside Isak in training. It's not working. That's not twice. Isak has come on and saved us. Man City to Team City. So who's the real United? Us. Big up to Sophia. Hope you're okay, Sophia. Please hit the subscribe button, pet, if you can. That'd be amazing. Thank you. I saw a video today with Sam and Jordan saying Newcastle are nothing but a moment in time. I tell you what, he says he loves Newcastle, doesn't he? Not really. But yeah, Simon Jordan's just doing Simon Jordan things, Sophia. I mean, don't listen to him that much. Anyone see John nervously stroking his chin as Tony ranted about calling Man United? That's obviously beat them. That's obviously beaten in the final. Should we get there? I've always said this: we're one club and one city, all united as one. Manchester has two clubs, one is City, so they aren't united. We are the true United fact.
Yes.
That's from Paul. Isak, Maxi need to start. Joe Linton needs to be in the middle and take Longstaff out. We could do another midfielder. No disrespect to Sean. I like Sean Longstaff. There's only one United, and that's us, not the Man U. I'm not going to say the rest of it, by the way. Well, Jordan, I can't. I do disrespect to Macy. Well, Jordan flaps the slips at any opportunity. He does. John, definitely not appreciating Tony Strong words about Little Milan and Man United. Little Milan? I tell you, he said that to any Milan fan in Italian, calling them small club, and I tell you what, they will not be happy at all. AC Milan won't get his bandanas at 26 mil. It's every day, every single day, Jules, exactly. People never seem to mention against Arsenal. We had 2 clear-cut chances. Arsenal had 0 according to Sky, but they did have that one chance. So with all that possession, they did not. D. Sophia, Muppets of the word Bell End comes to mind, lads. Yeah. I agree with Tony about Wilson as a squad player next season, or replace him in the summer transfer to get a decent striker. With the lads, hi to you, mate. Last 5 seasons, Gordon, 15 goals, 5 assists. That's an average of 3 goals and 1 assist every season. Rather Elliot Anderson get the games. Good stats there. Watch what Mitchell does in back into the FA Cup this weekend. Hat-trick, I hope he scores us. I hope he smash them. I hope he's not going into Allison. Big up to you, Alison. Long time no see. I hope you well. I still need to get you on my channel very soon. Talk about Toon as well with Tony and the guys as well. Wilson will retire at the club. He said he's never leaving on the podcast with Antonio. Hey, we're going to talk about Matthias França, Tony. According to a post today, I don't know if you saw it, but Flamengo are saying that you could have the lad, but we want a 50% sell-on fee in future transfers, yeah? I don't know what to make of this. I would say, jog on.
That's exactly what I said, John, on my video. They want a 40 to 50% clause, so say 50%. So say he's worth 80 million quid and he goes. That means we got to give them £40 million. No chance. That's not happening, John. And it's just a way of them saying we don't want to sell him, so we'll just put in a ridiculous clause. We know the club won't accept it. I would just say no, jog on. Simple as, just jog on. And, there's other players out there we can go for. I mean, I don't know what you make of this, though, John, but Denzel Dumfries' agent's now in the UK. And he's linked, believe it or not, with Chelsea. Man U and us, John. I'll tell you what. I would have him, John, at a drop of a hat. I've rated this lad for a few years, John. He's a terrific talent. He can play in midfield on the right and also right back, and he'll be fantastic. He's quality. He's 26, John, and he's quality.
That guy, right, we should be all over this guy because he is brilliant. He's one of the better players in Milan. Name the price, get this guy in, and I'll tell you something, it'll be perfect centre. I'll play him centre back as well, right back in midfield as well. He is absolutely fantastic. Milan got him on the cheap, by the way, and I'll tell you, Inter Milan got him on the cheap, by the way. Get him in, but I think he'll probably end up going to London, I bet. That will not surprise us at all. But who gets my Simon's definition of big club? He's a failed owner. Who's bitter that Newcastle owner model has failed. What makes a big club is how much of a part your club plays in the city. Absolutely, cheers again. Not sure starting lineup for Southampton game will be enough to beat Man U. It's vital we play ASM and Isak have the best chance if we both get to the final. Well, Man U will be. I say Man U, not United. There you go. I'm learning. Gordon's Yeah, I am. Gordon's is a replacement. He's here to replace players like Richie and Ryan Frazier. Also, he said it was embarrassing. Them sad Twitter fans hammering the owners on Twitter about Gordon transfer. Anyone hammers the owners, they need to get their heat ass shake. Simple as that. I saw a man you guest on another podcast who found Nick Pope will be David De Gea's potential replacement. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He is going absolutely nowhere. Absolutely no chance at all whatsoever. Back on the Dumfries, man. Where do you think he ended up going, Brad? Dumfries? He used to leave Inter Milan.
I'm not sure, to be fair. First thing you would have said is probably Chelsea in the current market. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing too many rumours. Possibly like a Manchester United, Chelsea, something like that. I would say, top of my head. But you never know. You never know.
We'll see what happens. That's the name to watch out for as well. If you don't get him, that's the name to look out for as well. Guys, I've got 60, I did have 70 odd people watching my show live. Thank you very much indeed. Do hit the like button as well. Static said that 30 plus likes being hits as well. Thank you, my guy. Dan Byrne, Trippier, our agent, who will replace them. Do you know what? I mean, they will be replaced in a couple of years' time. I know that's a fact, but we need to get them replaced as well. But they've been fantastic for us this season. They've been brilliant, but I can go for another couple of years yet. Trust us on that. Big up to Richard,
John,
by the way. Go on.
Breaking news coming from Sky. Kolo Touré's been sacked as Wigan manager after 2 months.
You're joking?
No.
Wow.
He's sacked after 2 months in charge.
My God. See, look, you just cannot trust football, can you, Tony?
And talking on managers, our ex-striker Duncan Ferguson's the new manager of Forest Green Rovers.
Yes, he is. He is indeed. I wish him all the best on that as well. And I hope he does well with them. But let's hope they don't sack him after 2 months like we've done with Torre. Wow. Probably the name's too big for Wigan. Deary me. They got to Rich, but look forward to the League Cup final. Well, if you get there, mate, you'll be there. We'll get there as well. If you're a cracking game. Got to do a preview for that, by the way. Oli Leao, Rafael Leao, will be acceptable for ASM. I like Leao very much. That guy's amazing. Even Man City, before Man City take over, were Man City bigger than Newcastle? Not really.
No.
Not really. Watch an Everton podcast, saw one of them saying they would take ASM for 26 million. They got no chance. We're going to have said Karl Darlow. Sorry, Mr. Sat. So if I know what you mean, thank you. Everyone said hi to Mason, by the way. I'm surprised Mason never mentioned about Man United. Wow. In 1902, a football club in Manchester called Newton Heath changed their name. They were inspired by a club on the rise in Newcastle and took that club's United moniker for their sales. That's from Tom. Thank you for that history, Tom. Edison's not going anywhere. Eddie said he's back to his best, no intention of selling. And Milan can take Matt Ritchie for 26 mil. They're open to 80 mil back clause, just activate that, and they say no in the sell. The thing is, so we're not going to be paying 40, 50 million future selling on fee. Absolutely no chance. Boca wants the same clause as Varela. Well, good luck with that, Foxy, because we're not going to get mugged off for that at all. President of França is going nowhere, and it's not for sale. Let's see. Got to Leslie. Let's go for that as well. I'm surprised Chelsea wouldn't let Chris Wood. I'm surprised as well. Even to Ian as well, mate. Hope you're okay. Doesn't França have an insane release clause? It was 75 million quid, but dropped down to 20 mil. To be honest, I'm a bit pee that ain't signed anyone. Ian, there's still 6 days to the transfer window's door to go. Hi to PD and to Paul. France says 80 mil pound, and that's why I don't understand offering 60 mil for the second 2 mil. But all rumours, no one seems to know exactly. And let's go through this as well. And sorry about this, guys. We're going to go with Karl Darlow as well in a bit. With the Simon Jordan thing, I'll just see it. Look at the last 13 years. Newcastle 2 FA Cups, Darlow's challenge for the Premier League and being in the Champions League for more than one season, which Everton. Let's have a look at this one as well. Everton ain't done. Exactly. The backer will be De Gea's replacement. Oh, they come after him, by the way. The name Dumfries makes me hungry. They need a young right back to take the torch from Trips. Franta about 100 million euros, 87 million release clause. Cool. And even though number one in McKennie, I think it's on about winning McKennie for Juve. I could be wrong on that one. He's available on loan apparently. Well, so I'm chance to show to Sky Sports on here. I couldn't believe how salted other fans were living their heats rent free, and it's so funny. Exactly.
John,
Steve Bruce.
let's just
Yes,
come in, John.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this has just been broken by and they're a verified account as well. EFC Daily, which is Everton FC Daily. Just in Everton's position on Anthony Gordon has weakened, and it's now believed the club will be forced to consider an offer worth just over £40 million, including add-ons, which may be closer to Newcastle's valuation. So I don't know how trusted that account is, John, but that's what they're saying. So they're saying apparently they're weakening now. It's like I said to you, John, do they want to go through this transfer window and he doesn't go and then have an unhappy player on their hands? That's the thing. So, I don't know. I don't know how credible they are. I've never seen them before on Twitter, but if they are credible, then yeah. I mean, what do you make of that, John?
Well, if they weaken their position, they're going to have to take the money. I think 40 million, final offer, take it or leave it. I wouldn't go over 40 million for this guy. And then that's it. You just have to move on, by the way. I was sorted, by the way. Sorry, guys. Yeah, what do you think, Brad? 40 million?
Yeah, I would imagine that's our top limit of what we think that is worth. So because of what's going on, Everton can try it on, but in the next few days they're gonna have to we're putting a maximum of 40 million, probably just about 40 with the add-ons, etc. End of the day, if they want a sale, they're gonna have to get rid of him, or they've got someone who doesn't want to be at the club, and they've got to ask themselves, are they going to get an offer like that again? This might be the chance where they can get rid of him and make the most money out of it. So realistically, they're going to have to say, well, let's just accept what's on the table, because that's the best option for both parties, himself and the club, because I just don't want to be there anymore. So
yeah,
I think this makes sense to the next 2 or 3 days. It's gonna come to an agreement, because they'll have no choice ultimately. So yeah, I think 40 is about the number that we'll have identified as, look, with the add-ons, we're not going to go any higher than that. So take it or leave it, really.
Exactly, mate.
And it's interesting, John, because after that, EFC Daily have also put this tweet out as well 5 minutes ago. Everton are believed to have already lined up a bid to try and sign striker Marco Arnautovic from Italian club Bologna if they can raise enough cash. So if they want Arnautovic, they've got to sell Gordon. And I mean, Arnautovic is 33-year-old, John. Can he still do it in the Premier League at 33, though? I mean, Man U tried to get him, didn't they, last January?
Yeah, and Bologna turned it down as well. I believe Bologna probably turned it down as well, because yes, I know they don't want to sell him. Like, he's doing okay at Bologna, sort of one of the better players for me. But I think he's happy at Bologna, to be fair. I don't think he'll walk out of Bologna to come to Everton. I'd be surprised if he did. But would you walk out on Bologna to go to Everton? Or the problems they're having? Probably not. For me, I think he should stay at Bologna for me.
Thing is, John, no, he's 33. Is he going to really cut it in the Premier League now, Arnautovic, or do you think it's too quick for him now at his age? I mean, you watch Italian football, so you've probably seen him playing for Bologna. I don't know if he's lost any of his pace or whatever, but you know, what do you think, John?
I think I think he's. The game's going to be too quick for him, by the way. Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be a little bit too quick for him. He's had a great time with Stoke and West Ham. Then he went to China. Then he went to Bologna. I think now, because he's coming up to 34 years of age, I think he should stay where he is right now. Do you know what I mean? And just look at his stats now, right? He's 6'4", right? and he scored 22 goals in 47 league games for Serie A side. So he's doing really well. He's having a cracking season again, in a mid-table. So, yeah, for me personally, I think he'll stay. I don't think he'll be moving back to the Premier League. I could be wrong, but nah, not for me.
Or as Mark says in the comments at the bottom comment there, that's just come in, at 33, moving to the Prem, you may be looking for a last payday.
Yeah, could be.
But if Everton are willing to spend £23 million on Bielsa or his coaching staff, then how much is he going to offer Arnautovic?
Yeah, exactly. I think Bologna probably fleece Everton as well. They think, well, you know what, Premier side, let's fleece the meat light, you know what I mean? But I think it's there, Bologna, yeah. But then again, Tony Money does talk at the end of the day, right? But
it does.
That's the name you go watch out for. But we're definitely going to talk about that again. Signed Lamptey for Brighton. I'd love to, but he's injury prone though. That's the thing. I think he's a decent player when he's fit. He really is. No business with McAllister. He's going nowhere. What orders and Down Eagles doing in Saudi? Got no idea. No idea at all, but we'll find out. I still think Son will sign on Tuesday evening and be unveiled in semi-final, get the crowd up from the start. That extra bit of momentum for a big meet. That's a brilliant word, Mark. Brilliant. We have one more match before you can say we are in for the final. It's a cup game. Let's hope we make it. Boots for Everton. I'm not going to read that. Don't want Gordon. Fair enough. No caps as well, please. Thank you very much indeed. Anything good for Gordon is downright robbery. ASM and these must play. Gordon wouldn't get in the reserves. Still think what Gordon easy is glass. I don't understand that, but fair enough. We won Bush for 30 mil. Big up to Peter, by the way. Hi to you. Never knew Gordon is the second fastest in the league. Who would have thought? He must be quick then. Chiesa. He wants Chiesa. Bologna, the home of lasagna. Yeah, I love that. Big up to Mark, by the way. At 33, moved to the pen, we'll be looking for it. Yeah, Tony just said that. You're right, Mark. And Gordon Brown at Arden Bush.
Also, John, sorry to butt in there, John. The Telegraph are reporting now that Everton are going to drop the asking price for Anthony Gordon. So, and that's not Luke Edwards, by the way. It's a journalist called Matt Lowe who must cover Merseyside. And he said Everton are now considering dropping that price on Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're definitely weakened as well. So they're definitely weakened their position as well, Tony. So it's looking good for us, isn't it? So it's looking good for us. I'll give the guy a chance, 110%. You know what I mean? So I'm going to judge him play for Newcastle. I'm not going to judge him play for Everton Football Club. And we've got one for Frederick as well, 25th of April, Everton Newcastle. That could be some game. I'd love to be there for that game as well. I tell you what, there'll probably be no love lost between Everton and Newcastle, by the way, people. And Ches says, got to run. Thanks for looking after each other, Ches. I appreciate that, mate. And make sure you come back again soon. And yeah, thank you, Ches. I appreciate that. It looks like Darlow, Brad. Go on.
Sorry, John. How reliable do you think Marca are in Spain, the newspaper Marca or Marca, however you want to pronounce it? How reliable would you say they were, John?
Sometimes they're Madrid-based newspaper. Sometimes it could be spot on. Sometimes it could talk a lot of shite, but go on.
I'll tell you why, John, because I'm reporting. It's nothing to do with us, by the way. It's to do with Everton. Apparently, Davide Ancelotti, who's Carlos' son, is interested in taking his first steps into management with the Everton job. So Davide Ancelotti is interested in Everton job.
Wow, that is huge. And I tell you what, I wonder what Everton fans will make of that. That is a massive, massive gamble if they take this guy on. Massive.
Exactly.
Me personally, I would have just laughed. You know what I mean? I think he was to come in and take Everton downwards. You know what I mean? The way he treats his dad, Carlo. You know what I mean? If I was an Everton fan, I would not take him. Would you, Brad? Would you take him?
No, I think you talk about Premier League jobs and managers like that coming out the blue. It's not a risk in their position they're going to take, is it? No chance, nowhere near. When there's people like Sean Dyche in the frame for it, in the situation they're in now. I'm always a big fan of. Everyone says Premier League experience, Premier League I don't always agree with that, but I think in this case, some of the names they've got in the hat, they'd be silly to go and take someone like that on who's entirely unproven in the game. He could end up being a brilliant manager in the future. You don't know, but right now, I don't think Everton will be entertaining that. It'll just be some story drummed up in the newspaper for a few clicks, I imagine. But
yeah, absolutely, I agree. Says a lot about Gordon's attitude, refusing to train for his boyhood club 3 times. Everton gave him the opportunity to get him where he is today. Not a good look. Wow, not a good. That's what Foxy's been saying. Hi to Jude. And Peter K. Hook Gordon signs to score the goal against Everton. Send them, dude. Would that be funny, Tony, if he did
that? That would be hilarious, John. I mean, yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? But
wouldn't it just?
I don't know if we play Everton towards the end of the season or not, but probably not. And but yeah, it would be absolutely funny, wouldn't it? Though, if he did score the goal that sent them down, and then for him to celebrate as well, that would be even. But yeah, I mean, talking about that, John. I mean, you were sat in the Southampton home end. I mean, did they know you were a Newcastle fan?
There's the last sat next to us half time when I said something to her. I mean, she was absolutely fine. Her partner as well. They looked after us as well. And I said to them, if we score, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll rest assured. And she goes like, no, that's fine. She goes, don't worry about it because there's loads of Newcastle fans in the stand anyway. They notice that. But at the end of the day, we're chatting about football. She's coming up and her partner's coming up next week for the return game. And look, at the end of the day, they were good to us, Tony. They were really good to us, man. And when we scored, John, I didn't celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, John, did you agree with the way Adam Armstrong celebrated against us? I mean, I know some people say, why can't they celebrate a goal? But you want to show that respect towards your former club. And I just felt Adam Armstrong showed no respect whatsoever towards Newcastle, where Chris Wood scored against Leicester. He went to celebrate and then realised, oh, hang on, it's my former club. I'm not going to celebrate, and didn't celebrate. I mean, what did you make Adam Armstrong? Did you think he was a bit of a knacker to celebrate like that, John?
I'm going to have to agree because we gave him this break. And I watched your video earlier on about him sort of thing. I mean, he got sold by the previous owners, not our owners, previous employers, right? And basically, right, the way he did that, as a Newcastle fan, a Geordie, right, and he did that, I think that must have been embarrassing for him, especially when it got chalked off. He knew that ball came off his hand. He still celebrated, right? And for me, right, that's not a good look on Adam's part. Do you know what I mean? Look.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, for me, you should never have done that if you're Geordie. You don't celebrate. If I played football, if I played for, like, say, for a Premier League club, like, say, like a Man United or an Arsenal, and I scored a goal against Newcastle, I will not have celebrated. There's no way. I will not just go like that. Don't come to us. And then, just shake hands, clapped it, just wave to Newcastle fans, and that's it. Yeah. That's all I would have done, Tony. That's all I would have done. I will not celebrate team support. No way. Can't do it. Can you see Shearer doing that if he's playing now? I doubt it. And I've got an Everton fan here, by the way, and Paul. Big up John and the panel. Big up to you, Paul, mate. Hope you're okay. And
he's a Birmingham fan, John, not Everton.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was an Evertonian. Sorry. I'm sorry, Paul.
That's a Birmingham badge.
It looks like an Everton. Oh, the flipping bad, didn't I? Don't let Paul know.
No, it looks nothing like the Everton badge, John, that.
Oh, no. Tell Paul. Paul's watching. I had him there.
Sorry, you've just been Sinclaired.
Thank you. Or boost. Wow.
Oh, no, you don't want to be associated with him, John.
Nah, definitely not. We go over his comments, quickly. I'm very against the Gordon move. He's showing terrible character flaws if he's refused to train. He's not got the talent and stats to want to gamble more than 20 mil, in my opinion, on him. That's a Michael, by the way. I'm judging him with place in Newcastle. The Everton board needs to get this next appointment right, or they're in the shite, exactly. Having said that, the last couple of signings I have been against were Rondon and Pope, so made me bet against as me be a good thing, exactly. And comments come through. So what's their safety concerns about Gordon turn up in training? I didn't know that at all whatsoever. But if it was, then something needs to be done about it. And that's fine. But Tony, you got to go to. You got a show, haven't you?
I haven't got a show, John. No, but I've got to go and get my dinner, so my tea. So I need to get something to eat. Yeah. And,
that's fair enough, man. Before you go, can you just give us the socials, mate, before I let you go? And
yeah. So you can find me on Twitter, TonyTooney31. Give me a follow, and I'll follow you back. No problem at all. And also, you can find me on my new channel, which is It's All Black and White TV. I've been going since October. It's going quite well, and I'm currently at 318 subscribers at the moment. So I'm motoring along there a bit. And if you haven't checked the channel out, go and check it out. Some great content on there. And last night I had Chris Dobie on, professional darts player, great guy, passionate Toon fan. His darts is on tomorrow night on ITV4. If anybody wants to watch darts, then give Chris Dobie some support. If you haven't seen the show, check it out. It was an absolutely fantastic show, and he'll come on again at some point as well. So go and check it out. Really good show. Yeah, and nice lad.
Brilliant stuff. We definitely check it out. Chris Dobie as well. He sounds a great lad as well, and he's fun as well. Tony, thanks for coming on, mate, and we definitely see you another time, mate.
Yep, no problem. Cheers, John. See you later, Brad.
Cheers, Tony. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you, mate.
Right, we're going through this comments here. Going to wrap up as well because I didn't know the time. It's gone past an hour. So go through this comments quickly. Dave surrendered his car. I wouldn't turn up, to be fair. Why work for those fans? That's fine. I could have to leave you there, mate. Foxy fans trying to drag him out of the car and has to be picking this warm. It's actually just justified. That's from Paul. Me for the best forehand. Bang out of order. Exactly. It's a man of the celebration rather than the actual celebration itself. I think Armstrong wanted to prove that we were wrong, let him go, maybe a bit bitter, but then he had egg on his face in the end. Armstrong was sure in the same respect as he should, and let's be honest. John, not surprised you didn't celebrate Bud, but you could have got, exactly, but it was just out of respect. But what I did, I did smile a little bit, but there you go. He would celebrate for Man against Newcastle. Shut up, Mason. Shut up, man. Here the first people John wants to play for United. No, I do not. If it's a normal goal, I would understand the celebration. When you know you use your hand, that's a whole other matter. Yes, I did. Big up to Joe, by the way. Hope you're right, mate. I obviously back for the squad as a good footballer. Not for me. No. You and me that had issues talking to the fans, showed a bit of heart, more than every other Everton player. Probably explains why they are struggling. That's from Foxy. Yeah, the Castore. Wow. Thank you. What's the tea? I literally said as an Everton podcast, and they said it was just Scally banging on his windows. Exactly. John, you have one of those Sinclair moments, mate. Yes, I put my hand up. I did. Yes, I did. And Everton said bye to Tony. Love darts. I play a bit too. Just missed a 9 dart last season a match. Wow. Good effort, mate. Great effort. Take care. Leslie, as well, and catch you another time. Thanks so much for looking on my channel. Wherever Gordon goes, it won't be Everton. Exactly. And take all. Thank you so much indeed. We're gonna wrap it there, mate, because I've got to have my tea and I've got things to do. But Brad, did you enjoy coming on, mate? And tell us where you can find you on the socials, mate.
You can find us on Twitter. It's BP_NUFC.
Fantastic stuff. And guys, if you like the video, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also if you like to super chat, then you can always use the super thanks option as well and donate what you can. And if you'd like to become a member, again, it's just 99p. And Brad, I'll have a quick word with you backstage before I let you go, right? And then see you get future shows. Bye, John. Bye. Thanks, I had a coffee. Bye to you. Bye to Brian. Bye to what's John's having his tea? No idea. And yeah, exactly. Shocking. Some Everton fans are a disgrace. They really, really are disgrace. Still, right. Thanks very much indeed, chat. Thanks to Brad. And don't go away yet. I'll be back maybe tomorrow. If we'll be back tomorrow because I'm driving to Newcastle on the weekend. We'll be keeping your eyes peeled for that. And until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. And it is goodbye.
Master Can't hear that.